Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of You Have My Attention. Today the Midnight Bat is joining us again, and we are going to discuss TV shows that have our attention recently.
Yes.
So, first of all, I just want to give a quick disclaimer that we're going to talk about spoilers in
Spoilies.
yeah.
There's going to be spoilers for Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Selena, the series. So those are the ones we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so just be aware of that if you don't want to hear spoilers.
Then skip this episode.
Yeah. But if you've watched these or you don't care, then
listen in.
Yes. Listen in.
And hear our opinions and our point of view.
Yeah. So you want to start off talking about Better Call Saul?
Yeah, we can talk about Better Call Saul since we're both like watching it together. I think you might have gone ahead of me. So which part are you on again? I don't even remember.
I'm on season 2 and I don't remember which episode. I think I'm halfway through the season at this point.
Okay, well, I really liked season 1 and it's been a long time since I watched it like fully.
Mm-hmm.
Only until recently. And I don't know, there's just a lot of things that I like missed about it, and one of them was like watching Mike like interact with other people, the shenanigans, you know, like because he's like a no nonsense type of guy, and like he was like an ex-cop. He's not the main character, but
I guess we should just first talk about kind of set the background for the show so that
okay,
if anyone's never watched it. So basically Better Call Saul is basically a prequel of
Breaking Bad,
a very popular critically acclaimed show, Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is the best show available to watch on Netflix in my opinion.
So Better Call Saul centers around one of the most eccentric character from the Breaking Bad universe, which is Saul Goodman. He's
like the lawyer,
yeah,
from Breaking Bad, and he's like kind of like doing shady practices, you know.
Yeah, so it goes back to his beginnings and how he became Saul Goodman, because
Saul is not his real name.
Yes, the character's name, like his real name is
James McGill.
James McGill, and
Jimmy.
Yes, and he used to be a con man back in his hometown in Illinois. I believe it was Cicero, Illinois. I think that's the town that they say he's from.
Yeah, but then they kind of show his growth.
Yeah, his trajectory from, being the kind of guy that with his friend would like con people out of their money in bars. And then, him getting into trouble, and then he has an older brother who he has an interesting relationship with. And his older brother, his older brother's named Chuck, or Charles, actually. Well, they call him Chuck.
They call him Chuck the whole time, so yeah.
He's a lawyer. He's very
he's like
academic, successful, intellectual
opposite
type of person. Pretty much the opposite of Jimmy.
Yes.
And we should mention the main characters portrayed by Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, and actually, I don't remember where I saw it, but I think some other actor was saying that Bob Odenkirk, he wasn't even like an actor before, like that wasn't even like what he was starting off doing. He was like doing something like a normal job or something, like something different, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I know he's from Illinois. Well, he was born there. And I guess he lived there in his youth.
But he's great. He's a great actor. So
yeah, I've seen him in a few different
I've only seen
places,
him in Breaking Bad. And
yeah, I guess these are the two main ones, but I want to say I've seen him in something else. But
I like the dynamic between him and his brother because his older brother is a serious one, he follows the law very strictly, and Jimmy kind of gets a little, he finds loopholes, or he finds ways around certain things, and he's like the likable one that, people like, and Chuck is kind of jealous of that, and they don't really show.
He seems to be. That's the way he's portrayed. It kind of seems like he sort of resents his brother because of how charming he is, how people seem to gravitate towards him.
Yeah.
He's very charismatic.
Super charismatic.
He's outgoing. Meanwhile, Chuck is not. I mean, Chuck is
he's very like
intellectual person, I would say. Like,
yeah, and he's
very serious.
Very
he's
serious.
not at all
very
like
cold.
Not at all like Jimmy is. He's very like, I don't know if the right phrase is straight man or something. Is that what they call it? Comedy.
The older brother is a lawyer too, but like he has his own, what is it called?
Firm.
His own firm, yeah. And so when Jimmy tells him that he passed the, what is it called?
The bar.
That he passed the bar, he's like
surprised.
You know, the older brother is like, what? You know, like he's like shocked.
Yeah, I guess. So basically what happens in the beginning is that Jimmy is a con man, right? And then he gets himself into some trouble. And by this point, his brother has already left Illinois. He now resides in New Mexico. And
that's where the most of the story happens.
Yes. So he finds out that Jimmy's in trouble. He goes and kind of like gets him out of trouble over there. And then he gets him a job at his law firm.
He's like in the mailroom,
working
right?
in the mailroom. Yes. So he starts off in the mailroom, and he doesn't tell his brother about any of this. So like it's strange because like they're not. It's like they don't talk about some things about each other unless they like find out, you know.
But like the older brother has like a weird condition, like where he feels like he's like, I don't know a better way to put this, but like allergic to electricity.
Yeah, he has what he describes as a sensitivity to electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic
things like that, like electricity.
Yeah, basically electricity.
So all of his lights are out in his house. You know, he doesn't have, you know, if his fridge isn't working, you know, because he has everything in like a cooler, and so Jimmy brings him his stuff, you know, his food.
Yeah, and he wasn't like that before. It's something that develops at some point, and I haven't gotten to the part where that's explained yet, because kind of like where you start off, you kind of see him. It's interesting because this show, it has like flashbacks and flash forwards. So actually the very beginning in season 1, it's a flash forward
after Breaking Bad,
after the events of Breaking Bad. Now the show is mainly taking place as a prequel before Breaking Bad, but throughout the series you have flashbacks to way before, like their childhood and, you know, other things that happened before what's currently going on in the storyline, and then also flash forwards past the Breaking Bad timeline after those events transpired. So we know already, because from the ending of Breaking Bad and the beginning, you know, the flash forwards that they show, that Jimmy went into hiding after the events of Breaking Bad. He adopted a new identity. He moved to Nebraska and is a manager at a Cinnabon in a mall.
Yeah, and they do talk about that in Breaking Bad. And there'll be like moments where he's like as his older self, and he'll go into his closet and take out like an old tape recording of his old commercials.
Yeah, so
as Saul Goodman.
Yeah,
so
you see his life in the future, and you see where his like decisions and like all these things that he got involved in as a lawyer, like where they led him to in the future. And it's interesting because the scenes where they show him in the future, you know, in his fugitive life as a fugitive, although he's not on the run, but he's in hiding. Everything's in black and white. Yeah. Notice that all those scenes are in black and white, and I think that's so interesting. It's like showing I don't know what the phrase or the name of that, but it's symbolic, right? It's it means something. What you would name that, I'm not sure, but it's every time I see those scenes with the flash forward like images, it's just sad. Like, I honestly feel sad each time because I just see kind of like, it's like that whole Ghost of Christmas Future thing, you know, from that show, or
What?
sorry, that movie with you know, Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Christmas
Carol?
Present. Yes. A Christmas Carol.
Okay. I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah, A Christmas Carol. It's a classic like Christmas story of the main character is like being warned that the way he's going, he's, you know, gonna end up in this situation in the future.
Well, besides
Ebenezer Scrooge, right?
Yeah. Besides those two characters, I mean, I think Mike is great. You know, he's like the older ex-cop guy who's like really just stoic and like no nonsense, and you know, he'll he'll kind of like have Saul be his lawyer and all that. And there's
I mean, the way they met, we should say before before he became his lawyer, he was the employee at the parking lot. So the parking lot to the courthouse, because
Mike was,
because Jimmy, who becomes Saul, who becomes
he's the lawyer, and he'll do some jobs there and like represent people.
He starts off as a public defender because he has trouble getting clients at first, you know, being a new lawyer. He has his solo practice. Initially,
he doesn't have an official office. Like it's like an office inside of a nail salon, you know.
Right. So as we mentioned, he started off in the mailroom, got his degree, and you know, passed the bar. But his brother's firm wouldn't hire him.
Yeah.
You know, he approached the firm, tried to get hired. His coworker, who's, you know, his love interest, Kim Wexler, also started in the mailroom, but she does get hired.
Yeah.
In contrast to Jimmy, whose brother is frankly distrustful of him. So he is not hired from the by the firm, and so he has his own solo practice, but he struggles. So you see in the first season and into the second season how he struggles in those times, and the way he meets this character Mike is that Mike is the parking attendant for the parking lot. Mike is just like following the rules, doesn't let him out. He sees him almost every day, and he's still a stickler for the rules, right?
Yeah. But the storyline that I'm really fascinated by is with the Kettlemans. Like where
so who are the Kettlemans? They're these this couple, the husband, he's been accused of stealing money from the county. What was his job? He was like what was his,
don't really remember fully, but basically him and his wife are like keeping like a bag of cash in their house, you know, and they are insisting that they didn't take it, and that, you know, that the husband is innocent, but you know, clearly he's not. He's not.
Definitely stole money from the taxpayers. He had some kind of job. It was like, I don't remember what it was, like county commissioner. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, something like that. But Saul is trying to get them to hire him as their lawyer, and they just refuse at first. But then they go to Chuck's firm, you know, the
HHM,
mm-hmm. And they try to get, you know, Kim to help them get him off, like so people think that he's innocent, but she's like, well, we're gonna have to make a deal, you know, but he's gonna go to prison. Like, there's no other way around
with the DA, with the district attorney.
And so they're like, actually, no, we're not going to hire you. And so they go back to Saul. Actually, Saul goes the extra mile, like, compared to all the other lawyers that are shown in the show. Like, he was the one that found the Kettlemans because they were hiding. And the police were like, where are they? Where are they? And so he figured out that they were, like, a few miles behind their house, just hiding in the woods, quote unquote camping, but they were just there trying to save the money for themselves. And
Yeah, they had even made it look like they got kidnapped or something, and they weren't.
Yeah, but Saul figured out like, this is really sus. So
Mm-hmm.
he found them, and then he's like, okay, well, you clearly have the bag of cash right there. And so, they were trying to bribe him, and all of that goes down. But also another way that he goes the extra mile is like in season 2. Is it season 1 or season 2 where he figures out that what is it called, the sandpiper, or what is it called?
Oh yeah, so there's an assisted living facility
Mm-hmm.
for primarily like senior individuals living there. He realizes that they're being I don't know what
they're being like tricked out of their money, basically. Like,
yeah, they're being exploited for their money as
since they're older,
residents.
They're older, they don't really realize,
Yeah, they're basically getting taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he realizes is because at that point he's kind of started to go into senior law, and so he starts to help
older clients.
Yeah, older clients. He writes wills, prepares, those kinds of documents for them. And, he realizes that some of his clients have trouble paying him. And with one conversation with one client, he kind of realizes, wait a minute. Why do you say you have an allowance? And she says, I have my, retirement account or what have you. And then the assisted living facility, they take the money out, and then they pay from there, they pay the bills like that I owe them. And then they give me an allowance. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. And so he starts digging deeper, and he realizes that it's this whole
scheme.
Very sketchy stuff going on. The
scheme.
Residents being taken advantage of.
And once he kind of starts to realize this, he wants to have access to those, those files, those papers that are proof that are saying that they're taking the money and all that.
Yeah, he starts picking up on these things, and he tries to connect with some of the residents and he tries to build a case against the facility. And he basically
dumpster dives for those documents, but since they're all shredded, he has to tape them all back together, and they're all in little tiritas and little strips
because they've been going through the paper shredder.
Yeah, and so he takes forever, but he tapes them back together, and his older brother even helps him too. And so they have those documents now, and then they're able to build up that case.
Mm-hmm. And then that case becomes so large, they realize the size of it that Jimmy
kind of need help.
They realize they need help because it would take so long, and it becomes like a multi-million-dollar case.
And HHM tries to get in on it.
Well, it's because Chuck works at HHM, and he convinces Jimmy to hand it over to them.
Yeah, but they're trying to get in on it, man. But they don't want Saul to be on the case. They just like, okay, we'll just
it's kind of revealed that that's mainly due to his brother, because his brother is distrustful of him, and
doesn't have enough confidence in him.
He doesn't, but also it's really a combination of things. I think their relationship,
also jealousy.
There is a jealousy component to it, or like an envy component. It's, to me, that's the way I perceive it. Yeah. So basically his brother becomes
almost like the villain.
Yeah, his nemesis.
Yeah.
Essentially. And it's interesting seeing how it started off as being one of the other lawyers in the firm seeming to be the bad guy, or like the nemesis, or like
yeah, but he was just Jimmy. Being fed information by Chuck.
But it was really all Chuck having him make, having him presenting himself as the bad guy, but really it was Chuck all along.
And he's not completely evil. He still loves his brother. That's what it's like a deeper.
It's more complicated.
More complex for sure. Yeah. So they have that, dynamic that is, it's very brotherly. Sometimes you get competitive. So.
But then also you see Jimmy taking care of Chuck because of Chuck's condition that he has, which, I believe is psychosomatic. It's something he has developed over a fear based on, intrusive thoughts and mental health
For sure, mental
issues,
health issues, yeah.
that has led to him believing that he has electromagnetic hypersensitivity. That's not proven to be a thing.
Yeah.
Proven in the sense of like it being an actual condition. It's more something that is mental, right? That he kind of develops. But yeah, so you have Jimmy taking care of him because he like brings him his food, he brings him ice, he gets the paper for him because Chuck won't even go outside. Like he won't even go out in the sun. He won't even really like.
Yeah, he'll just stay inside.
He stays indoors, does everything out inside. No electricity, uses gas lamps.
He like destroyed the fuse box.
Yeah,
so like no one can connect it.
He won't even allow visitors to bring any electronic devices, watches, phones.
He makes Saul put his cell phone in the mailbox, so,
And then he makes him ground himself by touching like a wire that's like ground into the earth, right? Doesn't he makes him do that before he enters?
He'll say ground yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before he goes inside the house. Yeah, so it's this whole thing, and so you see the whole dynamic. It's like very complicated. But who would you say is your favorite character in the show?
Mike.
Why is it Mike?
Well, I just love the way he's just like he's better than all the cops. He's better than all the bad guys. Like he'll figure shit out. He'll like whatever job that he has to do, he'll do it. And even if someone tries to stop him, he'll like stop them. Like when the whole Kettleman thing was happening, he was like watching them outside of their house and like tricking them into like leading him to the money by like
where they had their money stashed.
Yeah, and he was like watching the whole thing and they were freaking out, and so that's how Saul found out where they were hiding the money and all that. He's just like very like stealth, he'll just figure it out. And he's helping his daughter-in-law and granddaughter. And the moments with Mike and his granddaughter are so sweet because he'll like, he'll like take her to the park or just be very gentle with her. And I don't know, it's very endearing because you see him be like brutal with like these criminal dudes that are like getting in his way and like and then in the next scene he'll be like with his granddaughter like playing a little game or something. I don't know, it's cute.
It is interesting, that juxtaposition, right? Of you see the character in like two completely opposite situations, so that's interesting. So your favorite character is Mike.
Yeah.
My favorite character is definitely Kim Wexler, who's
that's my friend's favorite character too.
She's the romantic, or she's the love interest, right, in this show.
Yeah, she's the love interest. And she helps out Saul a lot. She even gets him a job at another law firm. And she's just really, really helpful.
She's really smart. She's so, like, sophisticated. What's the word? I don't know. I guess, like, she's, like, a professional businesswoman.
Yeah.
And she's smart, and she's, like... She also...
Everything that Ellie wants to be.
Well, I like how she kind of like...
level-headed.
Yeah, she's very level-headed and all that. And she has a very good work ethic and everything, so...
Yeah, and she's very well put together.
Yeah, and I also like how she tries to embody a sort of like ethical stance towards things. Like I like how the way she manages her situations in her work is very like ethical centered, so I like that about her.
Yeah,
she and Jimmy get into disagreements over things because he'll tell her about stuff that's going on in his work, and then she will then be telling him, that can get you in trouble, you shouldn't do that, but of course Jimmy doesn't listen.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen,
although they did have that moment, I think it was season 2, where they kind of like trick a guy into like buying them this really expensive vodka, and like they were pretending like they were heirs to some fortune. And do you remember that?
Well, they got him to buy them drinks.
Yeah,
But
it
then,
was the expensive vodka that she wanted to try. Yeah.
But then after that, yeah, they tricked him into like investing into a fake company that didn't exist. But they didn't actually cash a check. It was just like,
no, but they were just doing that. But like, that's a little moment where Kim does something that she knows is wrong,
right.
And then they have fun, and then the next day she's like, "We can never do that again."
Yeah,
by
she's
the way.
like, no, not again. And then Jimmy's like, "You had a good time, you know." She's like, "No," and they didn't cash the check. But yeah, I guess the vodka stuff was sketchy.
Yeah, that
the whole situation was sketchy.
It shows like how she actually felt remorse, like she felt guilt about that, even though if it was something kind of small, because she didn't really go. They didn't really go all the way with it. They just kind of like
with the con.
Yeah, with the con. And it's kind of funny because the guy that they tricked had like a moment in Breaking Bad, the original show, where he was like being an asshole and talking on the phone, talking about how much money he makes, and like his fucking nice ass car was like out in the gas station, and it just made Walt be really, I don't know, pissed off, and so he like lights his like explodes his car.
He's the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same guy, same actor.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't. So I saw all of Breaking Bad, but it's been a long time because the show ended quite a while ago, right? A couple years ago. And
I want to say maybe like 2012 or something.
Yeah, but I didn't see it right when it ended. I don't remember exactly.
2010 maybe. I don't remember when it ended.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't remember when
I'm pretty
I saw
sure
it, but it's been a long time.
2008.
Yeah, the first season, right?
The first season, pretty sure it came out 2008.
So it's been quite a while. I don't remember a lot of those details, and I've only seen it all the way through once.
I've seen that show like more than 8 times all the way through because I love it that much.
I can't really bring myself to watch it over and over. It's pretty violent and graphic.
No, yeah, I know you can't really handle it.
It's difficult for me to watch. Better Call Saul, even though it's a spin-off of that other series, it's not as graphic.
It's not, no.
Anywhere near as graphic as Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad has way more deaths, more killings.
Way more thrilling, like more
blood.
A thriller type show, way more like the drama.
It's a drama, but yes, it's like, you know,
pumped to the max compared to Better Call Saul. So I am enjoying Better Call Saul more. There are some scenes that I'm like, well, I wouldn't. It's definitely not a show for kids. It's definitely an adult show for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's not as graphic as Breaking Bad. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it more, and I think there's like layers that are with the, you know, different characters that I like watching. I guess I find them interesting.
I wish they had a Mike spinoff. They probably won't do it, but I feel like it'd be really cool because they probably wouldn't do it because they already showed some of his backstory in Better Call Saul. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be really cool to show when he was younger and he was a cop or something, and then show flash forward to when he's older. I don't know.
I see. Well, I mean, to me, Better Call Saul is like out of the average when it comes to spinoffs, because normally I don't like spinoffs. I don't watch them. I usually find them disappointing.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Most of them are. It's really rare that you find one like this that is like really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it just has to do with the creators and the writers are just phenomenal, right? They do really well. So that's the reason why I do enjoy it. But I mean, normally if there's a show that I enjoyed watching, then there's like a spinoff show, I'm probably not going to watch a spinoff show.
I think it depends on what it is for me. Like, for sure, I knew a Better Call Saul was going to be good because everybody was saying that it was. So, and then
it was the same creator. Well, one of the same. I don't know all the same creators.
People, but yeah. Well, I know Vince Gilligan is the name of the guy that created Breaking Bad. So, yeah. Well, do you want to talk about other shows?
You want to talk about another show that you watch, and this one's pretty. It's a drama too, right?
Euphoria. I've seen that show. Like, I've rewatched it a couple times, and it's really good. There are things I like about it, things I don't like about it. Like,
let's start with what you like.
Okay, what I like, I love the way that it's filmed. Like, they'll do like really like the way that the camera moves, the lighting, like the way that it's like set up. It's just like very, what is it called? Satisfying, or like aesthetically pleasing.
The cinematography you're talking about, right?
Yes, I love that. And the writing is pretty, like, it's good. It's season 1 and season 2. Some parts I'm like, what? Why did this happen? This is dumb. Why did they make this happen?
You mean plot wise?
Yes, like the way that they, like, with one of the characters, like they like messed her story up so bad in the second one. And then so, and I know that she had, I'm talking about Kat Hernandez. She's one of the characters. Like she was like, her story was amazing in season 1, and in season 2, like I don't know what the hell happened, but like I know that she had, like, the actual actress had Barbie Ferreira had issues with the creator Sam Levinson, and you know, she was just like, I'm not going back on this show again. I don't know, she was just so great in the first season, and then they're like, oh, she doesn't like her boyfriend anymore, and she is just like, I don't know, mean now, or just weird.
What would
she
you
doesn't
say?
Know herself. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, go back to the beginning. Basically, what's the show about? Like, what's the main
sorry
storyline?
Okay, so it takes place in a high school, but I don't know why it takes place in a high school. It should be in like college setting, because everybody in the show is like, you know, doing adult stuff, like doing drugs, drinking,
I mean,
having sex.
those things happen in high school,
Yes,
presumably.
they do, but the way that they go about it in the show is like, this is way too adult, especially in the season 1. And in the very first episode, there is a lot of nudity, and it's just like, why do you have to show so much nudity? Like, I think in the first episode, like,
that makes me pretty uncomfortable, because thinking about how it's supposed to be taking place in high school.
That's why I'm saying
that's kind of disturbing. I know
the
the actors themselves are not actually in high school.
No, yeah, they're older.
But just the plot line revolving around high school students and it being that way is kind of like,
it's weird. Yeah, it is weird. Basically, so it takes place in high school. The main character is basically Rue Bennett, who is played by Zendaya, and she is like the drug addict girl, you know, and they show all her struggles, and how she started getting addicted to drugs was because of her dad. You know, he was like sick, and then he had to take all these pills, and she would take them, and then he passed away, and that really set her off in a really wrong path. And so there's like, it's just really sad, like when they show her story, like with her mom and her sister, because her sister had to, like, she literally saw her like overdosed on the floor, and so she had to be taken away. And so you know, it's just very traumatizing for the little sister. And you know, she goes to rehab, and then she gets clean for a little bit, and then she relapses again, and then like but she's going to NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and she is just going through so much, and she kind of falls in love with this girl named Jules, and she's like the trans girl who just moved into town, and she's very troubled too. They show her past too,
portrayed by Hunter Schafer.
Yes, you know, she kind of is living a little bit of a double life, like a double hoe life. Like, she'll go on Grindr and like meet up with like older men and things like that. And
that's very upsetting. High school student doing that.
Okay, so in the beginning, like, she like hooks up with this like older guy in a motel, and the guy that she hooks up with turns out to be one of the main character's dads. So like, basically the villain of the story, his name is Nate Jacobs, and his dad is Cal Jacobs. And so Nate is like the the villain of the whole show. Like, he's like psychotic as hell. Like, he's very abusive and controlling towards his girlfriend Maddie, and just controlling and evil in general. Like, he'll just blackmail people. He blackmails Jules. He blackmails this one guy that hooks up with Maddie at a party. He's like, you're gonna confess to this crime. And he's like, really, he's so messed up. Yeah, he's like the most dislikable, you know, character. Yeah, he's like basically toxic masculinity in a character. and he's
personified.
personified, yeah. And he struggling with his sexuality. He's like, am I gay or what? His dad is secretly gay too. Actually, I don't know if Nate is actually gay or if he's just questioning. I think he's just questioning because of his trauma and like what he witnessed on his dad's computer, and like it's just like really sad and like complex. But he pretty much is the villain. But you sometimes feel like bad for him because of like what his dad, you know, put him through and like how he raised him. It's just very sad. His girlfriend, Maddie, played by Alexa Demi, she is so great. I love her character so much. She's like La Latina, and she is sassy, like cool girl, I guess. But she's not mean though. She's not like a mean girl. She's like cool girl who's like chill with people, like it doesn't matter. And she's really great to watch.
Is she your favorite character in the show?
That's kind of hard. I was trying to think about that too, because I was like, I mean, I really like Maddie. I really like Lexi more. I like Lexi more in season 2 because they go more into her character. And I also really like Angus Cloud's character, Fesco. And he's like the drug dealer friend to Rue, but he doesn't supply her drugs because he's like, yo, Rue, like you just got out of rehab. Like, I don't want you to. He doesn't want to give her drugs, even though he's like a drug dealer. So it's like, because they're like friends. He's like, yo, that's my family, you know? So,
interesting.
Yeah, and like his story is really crazy too, because he has like a business. I mean, he has like 2 businesses technically, because he's a drug dealer, but he's also running like a gas station, you know, and like and just like he'll be selling like food at a fair or something, right? But he'll also be selling the drugs at the same time. His grandma is like basically like, I don't know, like not a vegetable, but she's just like in her bed and she can't move or anything, and she doesn't get up. She's like, I don't know, not really conscious, or yeah, but he's like taking care of the grandma.
Is she paraplegic?
No, it's like she got into an accident or something. He's taking care of his grandma. He's taking care of his kid, who is this kid named Ashtray, which is basically his brother, but they're not related by blood. He just like lives there because like his mom dropped him off there, and I guess his mom was a drug addict, and so she just never came back for her kid. So he's just there now, and he's living with Fesco, and so they're basically brothers, but just not by blood.
Why do you think, like, so you mentioned the first season has a lot of nudity and like graphic stuff going on. Do you think that some shows show like their most graphic like scenes in the beginning sometimes in the hopes that it'll get more attention?
I mean, it could be, yeah, because like one of the characters who's named Cassie, played by Sydney Sweeney, her character, like especially in like season 1, is like nude a lot, and like people are like leaking her, or like people are like leaking her nudes, and like
in the show
okay,
in the plot, okay.
The thing is that in season 2 she kind of starts a relationship with Maddie's ex-boyfriend Nate, but in season 1, literally in the first episode, Nate is making fun of her and like showing her nudes to her soon-to-be boyfriend McKay, and so he's just like making fun of her, and it's just like so messed up, and like he'll just treat women like objects, and like they're just there to have sex with him basically, and for him to control. And so it's kind of weird how she like gets with him, and then they'll be like, oh he's in love with her, but it's like, no girl, that's not love.
You know what, so I've never seen the show, but I've seen like clips. The one that was really striking to me was one that came out that there was a lot of buzz around, and it was the scene where Cassie has this whole like crazy getting ready routine.
Yes,
that I saw that scene a couple times. I was like, I watched
that scene. Yes,
it was interesting to watch. I know it led to a lot of like content online of people like recreating.
It became a TikTok trend too.
Yeah, it was like a trend, and people recreating
their morning routines
scene and everything, and like some people trying to do it themselves. Like, and isn't the whole thing like she wakes up at 4 a.m.
to get ready to look good for Nate Jacobs, the guy that is abusive.
Yeah,
that she's trying to get with.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, but it's sad. So a lot of the things in that morning routine, a lot of the products that Cassie uses, Sydney Sweeney, the actual actress, actually uses those products in real life. So she would actually bring them from her house, and then she went to go film that scene. But
I thought that was interesting when I heard about that. Like, oh, she actually uses the product. But I guess
I want to get one of those products, like for real.
But the actual routine is like insane.
Yeah, it's like insanity. She's shaving, she's lotioning up, she's like putting under eye patches like in her under eyes, and then she's like doing an ice roller. She's like curling her hair with like this thing that you put on your head, and it
at the curl formers, I think that's
yeah.
Like that.
And like she'll what is it called, she use one of those electric nose shavers. She'll like use like an electric roller on her face. So a lot of the stuff is like depuffing. Like she'll put on like an ice mask that you can like, you know, wear. So it's like some people would say like, oh, she's using, like in the comments of like that morning routine video, they'll be like, oh, she's using a lot of like depuffing things because Cassie is always crying, like the character's always crying. And I was like, oh, that's probably why she's using all these ice rollers.
See.
And
Okay.
like
I mean, this is what I would think. If you are getting up at 4 a.m. like regularly, you're gonna have a puffy face because you're not sleeping enough, right? That's what I would think.
Yeah, she's probably not getting enough sleep. She's only doing it to look good for a guy. She's not even doing it for herself. That's why it's sad.
Yeah, it's just showing how far someone can go because of, you know, personal image insecurities, and it's really really sad to see, but also like insane. Because I know the way that the scene was filmed too, it was like all like, you see her doing it, like she doesn't do them.
She does it aggressively.
She doesn't do her routine in like a calm, like just like not even like a regular methodical manner where like, oh, you know, going through the motions or whatever. Like this is something she does every day. She does it like she's in a rush.
Yeah.
But she has so many steps. I don't even, I don't know how many, but.
Yeah, like she'll put makeup on, she'll take a shower before, and then she'll like do all the skincare stuff, and it's just crazy. And like she looks immaculate, like when they show her like after after the routine, and she's at school is trying to stare at Nate, and he's not looking at her at all.
Doesn't even give her the time of day.
No,
doesn't even care.
No. And he's like he's still into his ex-girlfriend Maddie, but you know, he's still kind of cheating with Cassie, but he's like ignoring her at that point.
But you know what the funny part in that scene is, like at the end, like when she shows up in school and she's dressed like literally exactly the same as the other girl.
And that's the only, people were saying like, oh, like the only time he looks at her is when she's dressed exactly like Maddie.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you, she's like, oh, my class is this way. Like, because she doesn't want to like be confronted or anything, because she's scared that Maddie will find out that they've been cheating.
She has the same look and outfit, right?
I mean, yes, but
here's the thing:
different color.
How would she know what her look? Does she always dress? So I've never seen the show, so I have no idea. Does she always dress the same?
She always has different outfits. They always have all different outfits.
No. I mean, how did Cassie end up with the same outfit as Maddie? Did she literally like? How did she know what she was gonna wear that day? Like,
I don't think she realized, but I think maybe it was like subconsciously copying Maddie to try to get Nate's attention. And well, they're best friends. That's the thing. They're best friends, so she sees her all the time. So she's probably seen some of her outfits.
So it's not outfit coordination. It's just like
no
semi like, so it's like a combination of subconscious and like, you know.
That's what I think.
And coincidence in a way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I assume the other girl, Maddie, has different outfits.
Oh, 100%. She's
so
like,
that it's kind of funny how she ends up wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I know it's kind of done like to show the like, I don't know if it's irony or what, but it's like done in a comedic, ironic way. Yeah. Because no one would actually look literally exactly the same in that way, but it's kind of showing like, you know, because she's wearing like, she's dressed the same. That's when he actually gives her attention, and it's kind of funny. But yeah. that scene stuck out to me. I mean, that's the one big scene that I've seen. I've never seen the show. Based on what you're telling me, I'm not gonna watch the show probably.
No, I don't think you would like it. But I'm watching season 2, and the part that I really love about season 2 is Lexi's character development, because she's like the shy girl. She's Cassie's sister, so she's like, the shy one. She's like
quiet,
the overlooked one, basically. So Cassie's always like, am I looking good? And Lexi's like, yes, you look perfect, literally perfect. And so she's the writer too, so she writes a play to put on for the school, but the things is that her play is literally based on all the characters in the show, like literally all her friends. It's based on everybody.
Interesting.
So she like gets people, like the people that audition look like off-brand versions of her friends. Yeah. But I also, yes, like I just love Lexi's. Also, she kind of gets a romance too in season 2. She does get a romance with Fesco, and so he's the only one, because they meet at a New Year's Eve party, and he's the only person that's ever given her any like attention, or like, I don't know, like I guess like she's just, nobody ever wants to, like, I guess nobody flirts with her, but he's just like super chill, and he actually wants to know what she's saying, and she's just really smart, and like just very, I don't know, like they're totally different as people, but like the way they interact is just like very sweet. They kind of bond, and they start to develop kind of like a friendship / relationship flirtationship.
So what do you not like about the show?
What do I not like about the show? Okay, I already said the nudity is like too much in the first season.
It's like excessive.
Second season, not as much nudity. Another thing I don't like I really just hate Nate's character. Like, he's just so gross to me. Oh, McKay, the boyfriend, Cassie's boyfriend in season 1, he just gets written off season 2. Like, he shows up in the beginning, and then like he just never shows up again, because Cassie is with Nate. But it's just weird the way they never show McKay again. McKay is like better for Cassie. Like, he does some things I don't like, but he's not like a sociopath like Nate. So I don't know, I just don't like how they just wrote him off like nothing.
He's still at the high school?
No, he's like in college. Like in season 1, he's
I guess
like a freshman. He's a freshman in college.
That kind of explains why he's not.
No, yeah, like they're like, they break up because Cassie's like, we're in different places, which does make sense, and I agree with that. It's like, yeah, if you're in college, why do you want to date a high schooler? It's just like, your guys are in different places, so like it's fine they broke up, but like, why couldn't they just continue his character? I don't know. And I already said I didn't like how they changed Kat's character, and they just kind of like messed up her storyline. I did not like that.
The whole story sounds really sad.
There's some really sad parts, there's some really like weird parts, there's some gross parts, there's some funny parts, and there's some really like beautiful parts. So it's like, it's like a mixture. So I don't think you can like handle it, honestly.
Yeah, it sounds too explicit for my taste, and then the storyline too is not something I'd be drawn to.
Yeah,
but I can see why some people watch it and talk about it, why it's gotten popular.
Yeah. Also, I like the memes, but that's Euphoria. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
It is. Well, I know that you wanted to watch. I mean, no, actually, we both watched another show, but we were watching lately Selena, the Netflix series, and it's really well done, I would say. Yeah.
I only saw, I think, season 1, and I don't think I saw season 2. Okay. Maybe an episode or 2 at most. And then when you were watching it, I would like sometimes pass by and like glance for some scenes, but I don't know what happens after that. 'Cause there's 2 seasons, right, for the whole series, and then it ends.
Yeah, it ends.
Do you think it's like a really good like portrayal of the story, or do you think it's like, what are your thoughts on the way the show is talks about Selena's life? And
well, I'll tell you, I think it's really well done, and it's been years since I've seen Selena the movie with J-Lo, But from what I've read, I do think that Selena the series is a lot better of a portrayal of their lives during that time,
Then the
back
movie
in the
was.
90s than in the movie. So like there's a lot of inaccuracies. Even there's like some inaccuracies in the show, like how, you know, Selena Quintanilla, how her and Chris were found out, like that they were being in a relationship. Like it was
That
actually,
whole-
yeah, her sister Suzette is the one that told her dad, you know, Abraham.
And like a few other like inconsistencies, right? But
Yeah, but for the most part, it's really well done. Like the outfits are really accurate. It's kind of scary.
yeah, actually, that's what I noticed in the series when I was watching it. Hair and their clothing, and those seem pretty accurate.
Yeah, they're really accurate. And I even saw a video of Suzette Quintanilla. She like kind of runs the Selena Museum in Corpus Christi. She was saying, "Oh, actually, I was shocked at how accurate the boots she was wearing were. That she had to go look and check if they were still in the case.
Because she thought they might have just taken them or
Yeah,
something.
because they were that accurate."
Well, that's neat. How do you feel about Christian Serrato's performance as Selena? Do you think it's...
So, I think that she did a great job. Like, she's a really great actress, and I love her in The Walking Dead and in Twilight. But, so, I don't think any person can accurately act like the real Selena Quintanilla, the real Selena. I don't think anybody will ever be exactly like her. I don't think that J-Lo looked like her. I don't think that Christian looks like her, but they did a really good job with the makeup and the hair and everything. So I think she's captures the essence, but I don't think she's really that much like the real Selena, because I've seen a lot of Selena videos and like interviews and documentaries about
clips of her
Clips of her
personality,
talking, like,
her personality. She's so charismatic. Like you've told me, like
always smiling,
yeah, like
making jokes, you know.
yeah, very outgoing, and she had this sort of like essence about her that is just difficult to recreate.
Very difficult.
And I don't think that we'll see someone like her
Ever
in
again.
our lifetime.
No. But what I do like is that I've heard Suzette, Selena's sister, talk about this in interviews, where they'll ask her like, "Oh, what do you think about Christian Serrato's performance as your sister?" And she'll be like, "I thought she did a great job, and I don't really like how people are like saying that she's doesn't look exactly like her, like because you know that people were getting on J-Lo for not being, she's not Mexican, J-Lo is Puerto Rican, so they're like, she doesn't look like her, she doesn't talk like her, she's not even Mexican." So she's like, well, she was like very respectful of J-Lo and very respectful of Christian. So I thought that was cool, because I know that J-Lo lived with the Quintanilla family
for a period of time.
Yeah, for preparation for the film, so she can kind of like get their dynamic and everything. But yeah, I thought the show was great. Very well done. The music, obviously, so Christian did not sing. I mean, she did sing, but not like the performances. Those were all Selena recordings, like actually Selena like singing. But there were certain parts where Christian did have to sing, like little moments, you know, when they're acting, not like during the performances or anything. But I just thought that was, you know, a good move, because no one's gonna sound like Selena. No one's gonna sound like exactly like her, and I think the fans really, you know, appreciate that they kept her actual music.
Whenever I see that done, I'm like, yeah, I would prefer that anyway. It would be odd to have a cover or like someone else singing while they're portraying the character. I mean,
another thing. So Selena, the real Selena, she had 2 boutiques, one in Corpus Christi and one in San Antonio. And I wish I could have gone to the San Antonio one, but obviously they closed down back in the 90s. But the Corpus Christi one, they still had it open until 2009. So I wish I could have gone to that one. But basically the part that in the show, I was so impressed by how accurate that they made the boutique in the show. It's scary. It looks exactly like the real one, because I would see videos of the
How
real
the boutique
on
looked.
YouTube. Yeah, I would see them and I was like, oh my god, this is literally the exact same layout. I was like, wow, they did a good job.
So like the costume design, the set designers, they did a really good job. I kind of
really
laughed
good job,
because I remember when I saw the first season, I noticed there was a scene where they showed this one building. I think it's like a hotel, I forget, in kind of like one of those, what do they call those scenes that are in between scenes that are just like showing the landscape or showing the
like they would show the river walk for a little bit.
but there was one that made me laugh. There was like a hotel that isn't even there at the time, like it's newer than, it wasn't around in the 90s, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Really? I kind of want to know.
I forget the name. I'm sorry, I'm terrible.
Do you remember
at
the
this.
location? Was it supposed to be in San Antonio?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in San Antonio.
Okay, well, like I thought it was cool because like they would show performances where they go to Laredo, they go to San Antonio, they go to Corpus, they go to other parts of Texas,
Other towns, places.
yeah. And I don't know, I just thought it was so cool. But like those weird awkward in between scenes, like those shots, the background shots, like it's kind of weird because when they show the river walk, it doesn't show like all the liveliness. It kind of just shows it far away where it's just the
like
river
empty
walk.
and
It
stuff.
looks empty, and I'm like, that is not accurate.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I wonder when they filmed those or how they did that.
I know that they filmed like for the Selena movie from the 90s, the JLo one, they actually did film in the Riverwalk, and like I just thought that was cool. So there's like a scene with Selena and Chris together there. But I'll watch like interviews about, Chris talking about Selena. It's just like, oh, it's so sad because, he lost his love. They were, they were married and they were so young. They were the youngest ones in the band. And so, you could just see the heartbreak. And then I also watched like this one clip of when they made, that Madame Tussauds place where they have the wax figures of the famous people. So they made one for Selena. And oh my god, like a lot of the comments are saying like, oh, you could just see Chris doesn't even want to look at like the wax figure in the eyes or anything. Like, he doesn't want to look at the figure because that's literally his lost love.
I always thought those waxed figures are weird.
I mean, yeah. I
like,
mean,
they're odd.
Especially if it's like that situation where it's like, that's your, deceased wife. Like, that's so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess to me it's less strange when it's a living person. Even then it's strange. It's like,
it's less weird when they're like long gone, like Marilyn Monroe. Like, that's not as weird,
But like more recently passed.
Yeah, when they're more recent, it's like, oh, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, it's fascinating that, the way that they're able to do that.
Right.
But I think that was like a little bit too, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so I do recommend that show, Selena. But I know that the family is just very controlling of her image, you know.
They want to protect the image.
And like rightfully so, that they should want to protect her because,
she's passed, she can't defend herself, she can't, control that.
That was Abraham's daughter, that was,
yeah, their
AB
sister, their daughter,
yeah. So it's just sad because I did, after I saw, the ending of the show, obviously we all know how the whole story ends in real life, with, that woman that worked for Selena, who was also
that shot and killed
her in Corpus Christi in 1995, and because she was embezzling money from the family and from the boutique, or she was embezzling from their businesses, the boutique, which belonged to Selena.
Yeah, so we know how it ends, but
she was a trusted friend, but obviously she was very possessive, and I thought that it's a little bit more the way that they showed the story was a little bit better done than the movie.
It was more detailed, I'm sure. When you when you're making a movie, you have to, there's only so much you can show in that 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then you want to get people to watch it. So you kind of, sometimes the story gets changed. It becomes more like, as they say, Hollywoodized, or I don't know what the word.
For sure. Yeah.
They changed. Yeah. They change it, make it more Hollywood. They change it, make it more, it's not going to be completely accurate because it's not going to be shown like a documentary. They're trying to show like a movie. They're trying to get people to, see it in that way. It's a different format, and it's just, the reality is that sometimes filming some things too is not feasible, or to be done in the way that it happened in real life. So
that's Selena the series, and
you recommend it.
I do recommend it, actually. Yeah. And although I do also recommend that you seek out the information, like actual footage of the real Selena, and check out her music and her performances, because I grew up listening to her, and she's the first ever musician or cantante, like ever singer, that I was ever conscious of, because I remember being like a little kid, and listening to her music in the living room. Like, she's the first singer or musician that I was ever conscious of. So yeah, I've been listening to her music a lot, especially like when I'm painting and stuff. Like, I will put it on because it's just like so good. And I'll be watching like the Astrodome concert that she did in Houston, Texas, and with her iconic purple outfit. And yeah, like that's like in my opinion, that's like
one of the best
one of the best like live concert albums of all time, in my opinion. Like that's one of them.
Yeah. So that about wraps up what we have to talk about in terms of shows. So thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing your shows with us. Let us know what you think of these shows, if you've seen them. If you haven't, let us know why you haven't seen them. Catch y'all later. Bye.